Welcome in everyone to another episode of the Yankees Den podcast. I'm your host Lorenzo Scarabino, and before the game tonight at 7:05, I just want to get into a little bit of the lineup. We have Jones called back up. Jasson Dominguez has a rehab game tonight. Aaron Judge's injury, I want to go over that a little bit because he said some things and talked about a specific place where he may have injured it, he thinks. And then I want to talk about what Cashman has to do at this deadline, knowing that Judge is going to be out probably minimum 2 months. So let's dive into that. First, I want to bring up the lineup. So for our lineup tonight, we have Grisham leading off, playing center field, batting second and DHing is Ben Rice. Playing first base, batting third is Paul Goldschmidt. Batting fourth is Bellinger in left field. Chisholm batting fifth, playing second base. We have Spencer Jones, who just got called up, getting the start in right field, batting sixth. Our seventh hitter is shortstop Anthony Volpe. Our eighth hitter is third baseman Ryan McMahon and catcher Austin Wells. Now, this lineup is heavy left-handed dominant because obviously there's a righty on the mound and we have a ton of left-handers. But one thing I want to point out, there's a couple things, but one thing first is we have Rice and Goldschmidt. We have Rice getting most of the days at DH now with Goldschmidt being implemented into the lineup more with Stanton on the IL. Now, the reason why I don't really like that is because when Stanton comes back from the IL, your everyday first baseman is probably going to be most likely Ben Rice, the way he's playing. And I would want to get him the most reps as you can. So I don't know why they keep DHing him so much. I would prefer them play him there so he gets used to playing there at Yankee Stadium as well. So if he's playing there in the playoffs and whatnot, working on his scoops, where to stand on the bag, how to position himself, just kind of get a feel over there because I want to be able to trust him and be comfortable with running him out there at first base in a playoff game. Now, with that being said, we also have Caballero not in the lineup, which I don't like at all. I think Cabby needs to be in the lineup, especially with Aaron Judge out. You need a spark, and Anthony Volpe is playing good, but he's not the same spark that Jose Caballero is. So I think that's really poor management on my part. For me, because Aaron Boone needs to run out Caballero and bring that energy. A Rosario, Caballero, you have both of them out of the lineup and on your bench, probably your best two sparks on the team on the roster, and you're not playing either one of them. So I think you have to get one of them in there. Now with Spencer Jones called up, you're not going to have Cabby playing right field. You're probably going to give most of the at bats, and I think you should. I think Boone and the front office should give Jones every day at bats and a runway over there in right field until at least Jasson Dominguez is clear to play and comes back. Now, I want when I say I want Jones to get runway and every day at bats, I don't mean like the first time he came up in the eighth inning or the seventh inning in a big spot, Aaron Boone would take him out and put in someone else. You're just killing the kid's confidence. You have no You're basically telling him you have no confidence in him to get the job done or produce at a high level for the major leagues, and he's just here for a contemporary replacement. You want to be able to trust him and have confidence, and you want him to have confidence, and you want him to build confidence. So you don't do that by taking him out in big situations. You keep him in there, let him ride, let him figure it out, and get adjusted to the MLB a little bit. Now, I think this is great. Perfect time, perfect window for him to showcase his true talents, his raw power. He's got to showcase that more. I want to see that on full display. I want to see a home run tonight. Come out swinging. You're back in the majors. You got another shot. So come do something with it. Also, Jasson Dominguez is starting his first rehab assignment since being put on the IL tonight at AAA. So hopefully he does well and progresses well, stays healthy, doesn't re-injure himself or anything, God forbid, gets through it and and gets back up to the major league roster, because I really do want to see him back. I think he'll be a perfect spark as well with his speed and agility and everything he just brings to the table. And hopefully he'll start into the outfield as well. If Jones happens to play out of his mind, it'll be a little bit of a tough decision. I still think Jasson Dominguez is a better player than Trent Grisham currently, and I would sub him in there, and he would be your leadoff hitter. He's the perfect leadoff hitter. He has more contact than Grisham, and he's speedier. He could do a lot more things on the baseball field than Trent Grisham. And when Jasson Dominguez was out there, I mean, he injured himself on a solid play, not a solid play, an amazing play, an extraordinary play. So I think his defense has taken a tick up, and he could be a little bit better in center field in his primary position. So I would give him that runway over there and see how he does. Now, with that being said, let's pan over a little bit to Aaron Judge. Now, Aaron Judge said he may have hurt himself, he thinks, on a dive against the Houston Astros. And this is what I'm talking about. He initially hurt himself. Let me bring it up. He says he believes he initially hurt himself on diving for a ball in Houston in late April. Now, the play that I have in mind is when Jazz was going out for a shallow fly ball and Judge was coming into it, Judge dove and Jazz Chisholm reached over and caught the ball and Judge missed it. I think maybe he might have tweaked it on that. I don't really know the specifics. Also, Judge said, this is Judge's words, he said that he was playing because Stanton went on the IL, Max Fried was on the IL, and that's what they pay him for, to stay on the field and be on the field. Let me find this tweet for you, because I know he did say this and I just saw it. Yeah, here, I'll pull it up right now. So Aaron Judge's words are, let me pull this thing up from Brian Hotch. Here it is. Why did Aaron Judge continue to play? He said, Big G's hurt. Max Fried's hurt. We had a lot of guys banged up. You've got to be out there. That's what they're paying me to do, to go out there and play. Now, he's not wrong. That is what they're paying him for. But he is wrong in a sense for keeping himself out on the field. And who knows if he was gatekeeping his injury, or if he told Aaron Boone and the management and they just let him make the decision because he's the captain, which would be terrible and poor management on the Yankees side, which we've seen throughout the years. They have terrible management with players when they are injured. They do not do a good job with disclosing that information or putting them on the IL. They let them injure themselves even more. So that's terrible if the Yankees front office and Aaron Boone knew about the injury and still let him run out there and, maybe injure himself a little more, because maybe he could have been out not for 2 months, maybe a month, maybe 3 weeks. You know what I mean? So I think that's very poor if they knew. If they didn't know and Judge was just keeping it in and not saying anything, then that's poor by him, because he hasn't been playing to his full potential. And we need him to play at that full potential, especially if we want to go win a World Series and get on a run in October. We need him at his full strength, and him just not saying anything and going out there every day is hurting the team more than he thinks. I know he wants to be out there, and that's great. He has a lot of heart, especially for the captain. He needs to have a lot of heart, and he shows it all the time, but he's hurting himself by playing out there injured and taking away at bats with someone who isn't injured and is fresh, like a Spencer Jones or Jasson Dominguez before he got injured, and giving them at bats when they could be doing and producing more while Aaron Judge is injured, taking the time away. Because now we enter June, when he said late April. So if he went on the IL, he could have been back by end of June. Now he said something in June. Now we might not see him till September, middle of September. Hopefully sooner. Hopefully August, end of August is what I would hope for. If not, then that's not ideal at all. You want him to come back at least in September so he gets hot a little bit, reacclimated, and adjusted to the pitching, and he gets ready for the run that we're going to make. Now, also going off of that, attaching from the Aaron Judge injury, calling up the Spencer Jones, and attaching it into the deadline, This is going to be a very big deadline for Cashman. This deadline just got a whole lot bigger with the Judge injury because now he's out for, you think, till August, September. We'll just say that time frame, right? 1 to 2 months, probably a month to get reimaging and see how he's doing, and then another month to do rehab games and ramp fully back up. So with that being said, Cashman's got to figure out what he has to do now. You know, is a Mike Trout on the table? Do you get creative and maybe, hit up the Angels and be like, listen, is Mike Trout available, and see what happens? Because I feel you have to get a catcher. We already know that. You have to get bullpen help. We know that. Our starting pitching is our strength. So you get catcher, you get bullpen help. Now you have to get an outfielder or at least another bat. Maybe if it's at third, but I think outfield may be better because if Spencer Jones doesn't play up to it, then you still have Trent Grisham out there, and your outfield's a little shaky, right? At least in the infield, you have Cabby, you have Jazz, you have Ben Rice, and whatnot. You think, going back to what I said before, when Judge is going to be back. What if the imaging comes back in a month and it shows that he's a little slower on the healing side? Then what do? Then you can't panic. Or what if it's after the deadline and you didn't do anything to the outfield or get another at bat besides catcher? Then you put yourself in a hole. Cashman cannot blow up this deadline like he did 2023. In 2023, Aaron Judge ran into the Dodgers wall, hurt his foot, broke his toe. I forget the specifics on that, but he was injured. And what did Cashman do? He gave up at the deadline. He did nothing. And the Yankees were 82-80, missed the playoffs, right? You don't want that happening again. Also, the 2023 team was not as deep or as talented. They relied heavily on Judge. Every team, I feel like, of the Yankees in the Judge era has relied on him, but this Yankees team has Ben Rice. You have Bellinger. You're going to have Stanton coming back. You're going to have Jasson Dominguez, who has a couple years under his belt. You have Caballero. You have Paul Goldschmidt. You have veterans in that clubhouse, and you also have young stars like Ben Rice, and you have, like I mentioned, Caballero, and hopefully Volpe keeps producing. And you have McMahon and Rosario. So you have way more pieces, way more depth. You have Spencer Jones. You have more depth in the minor league system to bring up if need be. So I think you are well more equipped. The Yankees just have to stay afloat, and I think they will. They will be fine without Judge. And when Judge comes back, that's when you guys need to be at your best. You need to, because if you get a catcher and you get bullpen help, and then you get another bat, then you insert Judge when he comes back. You have a great lineup. Say everything stays the same, and the Yankees, because Trent Grisham's making $20 million, whether no good how Jones plays or Jasson Dominguez plays when he comes back, one of them will be on the bench and back to the minors, and Trent Grisham's your leadoff hitter and center fielder. Then you have Trent Grisham, Aaron Judge, Ben Rice, Cody Bellinger, Stanton, Jazz, and then say you get like a Royce Lewis, Dylan Dingler, or Adley Rutschman, then you're talking. Then you're talking. Then you have Caballero and all these players, Stanton, and your lineup gets super deep. Now, if you were to go over the top and you got bullpen help, you got a catcher, and then you made a trade for a player like Mike Trout, then your outfield when Judge comes back is Bellinger, Trout, and Judge. That is the best outfield in the league. No questions about it. Now your lineup is, you could start off Trout, Bellinger, Judge, Rice, Stanton, Jazz, Cabby, Rutschman. You know what I mean? Your lineup gets that much better. So I think this is a big test for Cashman. We've seen the Yankees front office be aggressive this season early on. I think they will be aggressive super at the deadline and get this done. I would love to see it. I can't wait to see what's going to happen at the deadline and what happens with Spencer Jones. I hope he plays well and pops off and really showcases his skills. I can't wait for Jasson Dominguez to come back. Hopefully he has a successful rehab. Tonight, 7:05, tune into the game. Sonny Gray versus Ryan Weathers. And let's get to it. I'll come on here after the game, share my post-game recap. And that's Lorenzo Scarabino signing off before the Yankees game. Let's go, Yankees.